If you want to be Uncle Sam this year, then you've got to understand the rules of the game. But what if I told you that the average American overpays by $2,300 every year, and that there are over $1 billion in unclaimed refunds every year? The truth is that most people are making simple mistakes that are costing them thousands. Understanding taxes isn't about avoiding the IRS. It's about keeping more of your hard-earned money. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how you can turn your tax season from a nightmare into a payday. What's up, everybody? I'm Rashida, and I'm your guide to smart money moves. I started studying the world of finance and investing at the age of 17. I have grown my portfolio to $1 million, and I did it all on a public servant salary, and it is my mission to show you how you can get there too. Today, we're going to shift our focus a little bit today, and we're going to dive into taxes because, well, 'tis the season. I'm going to give you my top tax tips, bust some of the myths that are out there, and ultimately I'm going to reveal strategies that shrink your tax bill so that you can invest that money and get on the path to growing your wealth. First, let's clear up some of the costly myths that are keeping money out of your pocket. Myth number one is that filing taxes is voluntary. You think this is optional? That's probably what the IRS wants you to believe, because last year alone, the IRS collected $3.5 billion in penalties from people who think that they can skip filing. And here's what they don't tell you, that the system is designed to reward those who understand it. Myth number two is that online income isn't taxable. With the rise of side hustles, the gig economy, and online money making, this myth is costing people more than ever. But here's the real story. All income must be reported, yet most online entrepreneurs are actually missing out on thousands in deductions that they could be claiming. Myth number three is that students don't need to file. This misconception is literally stealing money from young people's pockets. The truth is that students are leaving refunds and education credits unclaimed every year. So let me show you how to get that money back. And myth number four is that home office deductions will trigger an audit. This outdated fear is stopping remote workers from claiming what they deserve, when in reality, the rise of work from home has changed everything, especially since COVID. So now that we have busted those myths, I'm going to show you exactly how you can keep more of your hard-earned money in 2025. And no, this isn't about sketchy loopholes or aggressive deductions. These are completely legal strategies that even the IRS wants you to know. But before we do, please take a minute, see if you have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, please consider doing that right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future content. All right, let's get back to it. And so let's start with the most overlooked opportunity that's literally costing you money right now. It's your paycheck withholding. Every time that you get paid, your employer is taking taxes out to send to the IRS. But here's the thing. If you are getting a big tax refund, you are actually making a costly mistake. Let me explain. That refund isn't free money. I know people like to think of it that way. That refund is your money that you have been lending to the government interest-free all year. And so think about it this way. If you're getting a $3,000 refund, that is $250 of your money locked away each month that could be doing things like earning interest in a high yield savings account, paying down high interest debt, investing for your future, or simply helping with monthly expenses. And let's be honest, when most people get that big refund, we tend to blow it on crap we don't need anyway. And almost none of that money is ever going to be invested for our future selves. So we got to keep it real there. The good news, you can fix this in about 10 minutes by adjusting your W-4 form with your HR department. So remember, the goal isn't to get a big refund. It is to get as close to zero as possible, meaning you're keeping every dollar that you deserve throughout the year. And the best part is that the IRS actually has a free calculator to help you get this number exactly right. I'll leave that link in the description below. Now, let's talk about your retirement accounts, because this next move can literally save you thousands. Most people actually think that they have until April to make retirement contributions for that tax year. But here is what smart money people do. They max out their retirement accounts before December 31st. Why? Because every dollar that you put into a traditional 401k or an IRA is going to reduce your taxable income this year. And so let's make this real. If you're in the 24% tax bracket, contributing an extra $5,000 before the end of the year could mean you saving $1,200 in taxes. That right there is going to be like getting a 24% instant return on your money before it even starts to grow for retirement. But wait, there's more, because there's something even better that most people miss. If you're self-employed or you have side hustle income, you can open what's called a SEP IRA. And this thing lets you contribute way more than a regular IRA. You're allowed to do up to 25% of your income or $66,000, whichever is less. And so that is some serious tax saving potential right there. Now, here's move number 3. This one is going to be especially important if you own a home. This is going to be property tax optimization. In most states, you can actually prepay your next year's property taxes before December 31st and deduct that amount on this year's return. But there's a catch. This only works if you itemize your deductions. And with the standard deduction being $14,600 for singles and then $29,200 for married people, you're gonna need to do some math first to see if this can benefit you. And strategy number 4 is what I like to call the charitable double dip. If you're someone that is planning to donate to charity anyway, here is how you can maximize the tax benefit. You can actually donate appreciated stocks or funds instead of cash. That way you get to deduct the full market value and avoid paying capital gains tax on the appreciation. This is completely legal and charities love receiving these donations. Now, let's talk about number 5 on my list, energy tax credits. This is basically free money that people leave on the table. If you have made any sort of energy efficient improvements on your home this year, we're talking about windows, doors, insulation, or even installing solar panels, you qualify for up to $3,200 in tax credits, not deductions, credits. Those are gold because they reduce your tax bill dollar for dollar. And strategy number 6 might surprise you a little bit because this one is about timing your income. If you're someone that's expecting a year-end bonus, or if you're self-employed, if you can push your income to the next year, you could save a significant amount on taxes, all right? But here's the key to this one. This one only makes sense if you are expecting to be in the same or lower tax bracket the next year. Now, this 7th strategy is often overlooked, but it is incredibly powerful, and it is called tax loss harvesting. If you've got investments that have gone down in value, you can actually sell them and offset gains in other investments. And on top of that, you can even deduct up to $3,000 against your regular income. The only thing to be aware of is to make sure you are not just wash trading. Basically, you can't buy back those same stocks within 30 days of having sold them. Now, with this one, you just need to make sure that you watch out for the wash sale rule. Basically, do not buy back the same or similar investment within 30 days, okay? Because the IRS will look for that. And finally, strategy number 8 is going to be for anyone that is 73 or older, okay? Or if you've got parents in this age group. This one is about required minimum distributions, or RMDs. And if you don't know what that is, basically the government forces you to withdraw a certain amount out of a traditional 401k or a traditional IRA once you hit the age of 73, because Uncle Sam wants to collect his taxes, okay? If you miss this minimum distribution, the IRS is going to slap you with a 25% penalty on the amount that you should have taken out. So the deadline for RMDs is going to be December 31st of every year, no exceptions. So make sure you stay on top of that, or if you've got a loved one in that age group, make sure they are taking care of that every year without fail. And so now that we've covered the tips on how to save money, let's talk about strategies for making your next tax season a breeze. Like many of you guys, I used to be that person panicking in April, racing against the deadline. But after years of research and learning from tax experts, I discovered a system that really transformed my tax game completely. First things first, you need to have a timeline strategy. Think of it like a game of chess, okay? You need to set up your pieces early to win, right? Taxes are the same way. And here's how I break it down. January needs to be your power month. With everyone else still recovering from the holidays, you can get ahead of the game by gathering your W-2s, downloading your mortgage statements, and organizing all of your receipts. I used to throw everything in a little folder and hope for the best. Trust me, that method does not work. Now, what I want you to do is pause this video right now, go and mark your calendar. It can be on your phone, that's fine. January 15th is going to be your tax power day on the calendar. This one action can save you so much stress later. Strategy number 2 is going to be the documentation system, okay? Look at your phone. This device isn't just for social media. It's actually a secret weapon for tax season. And so let me show you how I use it to stay organized all year. I learned the system after watching countless tax preparation videos and reading the IRS publication. And so here's what I do. I like to snap photos of important receipts immediately. Don't wait, all right? Because you're gonna forget. Then you're gonna use a simple naming system that is intuitive and makes sense for you and something that's going to be easy to remember. Create digital folders that match tax categories. And the best part about this is when tax season comes around, everything is already ready to go. No more weekend-long receipt hunting sessions, no combing through your emails trying to figure out what's what. It's all going to be there nice and organized for you. And the next strategy is my favorite because this is the part where I see so many people missing an opportunity. Every major life event can have tax implications, and understanding this changed how I view major life decisions as well. So for example, when my partner and I got married, we discovered many different tax considerations that we never had to think about before. That kind of stuff isn't just about changing your filing status. It's about understanding how one life change can open up multiple tax opportunities for you. And so take a second right now and think about your own life changes this year. Did you get married, buy a house? Did you start working remotely? Did you have any kids? Did you start a side hustle? All of those things are considerations for your taxes. And so each one of these events creates a new tax opportunity that a lot of people miss out on. Okay, and the next thing to be aware of is going to be the software that you use. I have pretty much used every single tax software that's out there over the years, but I've learned something important, okay? So let's think of software like choosing a car. You don't need a Ferrari to drive to the grocery store every day, but you also don't want to be stuck on a bicycle if you got to take a cross-country trip. And so let me share with you what I've discovered over the years just through trial and error. If you are just dealing with a W-2 job, the basic version of most software is going to be completely fine for you. But here's where things get a little more interesting. As soon as you add things like a side hustle or home office deductions, you're gonna need to level up a little bit. I had a friend that actually had to learn this the hard way, okay? They started a new business and they realized that the basic version wasn't asking them anything about crucial deductions for their business. And so you need to take a quick look at your income sources for last year. Did anything change? That's going to be a clue for which software you actually need. Now, this is the point where everything we've talked about is going to come together. Your tax strategy needs to grow with you. And so let me show you what I mean by that. As you go through life and changes occur, that should likely be a domino effect regarding your tax strategy. For instance, when you buy your first home, you may think that the mortgage interest deduction was the only tax benefit. But what you're going to discover is that that is just the beginning. So for instance, if someone like me is working on content creation from home, that may qualify for a home office deduction. When you begin to have your children, The child tax credit or dependent care credit is going to reduce your tax liability significantly. Then, as you begin to work in a full-time career, you're going to find that contributions to your 401k plan or your health savings account will work alongside of all those other deductions I just discussed. And here's the pattern that I've noticed. Every life change usually connects to multiple tax benefits. Again, it's going to be like a domino effect, but with money coming back to you instead of the dominoes falling down. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, this sounds great, but what about keeping track of everything? And so let me share this simple system that I use to make tax season stress-free. Create a digital tax folder on your computer, and then you're going to make subfolders for income documents, expense receipts, investment statements, charitable giving, medical expenses. And the key to this is just going to be consistency. Every time I get a tax document, it goes straight into the folder immediately. No more hunting through emails again. That is not going to happen for me in April. It's already there, organized, ready to go. And so take a second and think about where you keep your tax documents right now. Is it organized? Could you find everything in 5 minutes if you needed to? If not, this system could really be a game changer for you. And so remember, this isn't just about being organized, guys. This is about keeping more of your hard-earned money. Every document that you can easily find is a potential deduction that you won't miss. And so before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your financial freedom isn't just about making money. It's about keeping it and making it work for you. The strategies that we've covered today aren't just tax tips, they're stepping stones to help you build real wealth. And so I'm going to challenge you to take action on at least one of the things that we've gone over today. And so whether it's just adjusting your withholdings or setting up some sort of tax organization system, just start somewhere. Remember that every dollar that you save on taxes, you can invest in your future. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend, hit the like button, and drop a comment below. I want to know what your biggest tax saving strategy or takeaway from this video was. I'm Rashida, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out.